Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Richard Koritz. I'm proud to be co-host of You Gotta Laugh to Keep 'Em Crying show with my old friend and union brother,
comrade,
and all those good things.
That's right. That's
and,
right.
And brother O.W. Sweeney.
Yes.
And where you can reach us at
336. Wait a minute, hold on now. The North Carolina Triad Jobs with Justice, where you can reach us at 336-272-2758. Or you can go to the email.
Right. Which is North Carolina Triad Jobs with Justice at gmail.com.
That's right.
So we hope to hear from you.
Right.
And brother, you got something on your mind that you want to start to point out to our viewers?
I guess our great videography would put up a map on this here. But yesterday I went down to, I didn't go to vote, but the early voting is going on here in Greensboro. I went down there to try to find out who was voting. And I picked up a very interesting paper that shows the precincts where you can vote at.
Right.
The main place you can vote at is the Gifford County building down here. I think it's 300 Market Street, whatever it is.
Right.
I guess people know where it's at.
And it's right in the heart of downtown.
Well, yes, the heart of downtown.
Right.
And also, the closest place you can go vote if you're on the east side. See?
Right.
They got 3 places to vote on the west side. And I'm wondering why these people are depriving the east side. When they set the tax rate on houses, our tax rate is the same rate as those on the west side. And I think we should be treated the same. I think people should, I think it's the board of election, call them, because I'm going to find out when they're meeting, and I'm going to make a personal appearance down there to make comment on this here, because it's wrong.
Right, and you can report back to our viewers.
I'll report back if I find out.
All that too.
If I find out ahead of time, before the next show, when they're meeting, I'll let you know when the meeting. If you want to meet me down there, I'll be so proud to have your support to go down there, because this is not right to treat one side different than the other, unless you're trying to discourage one side from voting than the other.
Amen. And just to underscore the point you made, the people on the west side have a lot more resources that make it easy for them to drive to different polling places. And the people on the east side, on average, don't have those kind of resources. Right. So that even emphasizes the level of discouragement even more. So I'll be with you in spirit if I'm not down there with you at that voting place.
Because I feel like a lot of people on the east side might live close enough they can walk to vote. Right. Well, on the west side, they got 3 places. They got plenty of people can walk to vote.
Right.
And that's discriminatory against us, who's paying that tax rate, the same tax rate that the west side is paying.
Right.
And we should raise hell.
Okay.
So,
well, there's plenty of things to raise hell about, as you say. One pleasant surprise for me, O.W., was to read the column by George Will, who you and I are of an age where we know that George Will was, for decades, the big guru of the Republican Party in the United States. And so it was surprising to hear the title of his column a couple of days ago, September 23rd, and the title is, "As Trump Blasts Boats, Congress Hits Rock Bottom." And he does a good job, in my opinion, a surprisingly good job, of laying out that J.D. Vance, the vice president, who had lied about the Haitian immigrants to his when he was the senator from Ohio,
Yeah, and running for vice president.
and running for and running for vice president, and that's the key thing, because that's the key thing that made him not only lie about Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs, but staying with that lie long after it was clear as a bell
that it
was a lie. And of course Trump also continued on with that lie and that slander of these hardworking immigrant people in Springfield, Ohio, in J.D. Vance's own state. So that's how George Will introduces Vance and introduces this piece, and he points out that what it taught us was about Vance, meaning what a liar he is. And then George Will compares it to his response, similar to that, when Trump recently ordered the airstrike on a boat leaving Venezuela, killing, the president says, 11 drug smugglers. And Trump has hit 2 other missile strikes targeting boats near Venezuela with similar results. And he then cites Vance, who said killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. But then Will points out that how can we assume that that's the truth? That he goes back to an event that you and I are familiar with, the 1964 Tonkin Gulf incident, which was used as a justification for the U.S. Going to open war against Vietnam.
Yeah.
And which was proved to have been basically false.
Yeah.
And said thereafter it was almost inevitable that the administration, back then it was the Johnson administration, would lie and lie again to conceal the multiple...
Johnson or Kennedy?
No, Johnson. Yeah.
So Vietnam
64.
War started on...
No,
well, the Vietnam War actually started under Eisenhower in 54?
Well, no. At the time, I mean, in some ways it was. I mean, because some of the things that were done on the sly started... the U.S., the last 2 years that France was occupying Vietnam, was financing the French War.
Yes.
And in 1954, at the battle,
they had
the decisive
advisors
battle,
in there. And to me, when you put advisors in there,
yeah.
you pretty much got troops in there.
Yeah. But anyway,
military advisors, not just plain.
Well, they
advisors. But if
you're close.
If you give them military, then you are at war with them, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. But that was true. The 1964 Tonkin Gulf incident was the basis for them openly, for the U.S. imperialists to openly go into Vietnam. And George Will quotes from that period, and he says, "That was then, this is now. The Supreme Court," this is quoting Will soon consider Trump's claim that a statute that does not mention tariffs gives him, Trump, the power to impose tariffs as high as he chooses on any country he chooses for any reason he chooses." And Will exposes the fact that the Republicans in Congress, either because of fear or adoration of Trump, or a combination of the two, I suppose, are subordinate. He used a fancy word, which I looked up, supine, which meant that they are lying prostrate at his feet. And then said, because of fear or adoration, and Democrats are dumbfounded by the president's exercise of powers their party was complicit in Congress forfeiting. So I love that because, as you know, we don't get enough exposure of just how bankrupt the Democratic Party has been in the meager efforts to try to stop Trump's fascist drive from becoming victorious. So then he concludes that, unsurprisingly, there's the questioning of the president's action as judge, jury, and executioner in the waters off Venezuela, that Congress is just playing at it. You know, they're not doing basically a damn thing about it. What I really liked about it, O.W., was this: that here's a guy who's still basically a Republican, but he's not a member of the Trump party.
Well, he's not a MAGA. He's not.
He's not a MAGA guy, but he exposes U.S. imperialism on the war question. He exposes Trump, not only and Vance, not only on the slander of the Haitian immigrants to Ohio and all, but on the war question. And you and I know that that's been an issue where most of the big shot writers and talking heads, they haven't done very well exposing it. No. So I don't think any of the Democratic talking heads or the Democratic Party politicians in Congress have been raising this very point.
Yes.
You know,
but, and you have to understand that just because they say they were drug dealers, the only reason they really can say this and be honest about it without stopping and searching the boat to find out if they are sponsoring them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think what we understand from George Will is that there's been no proof.
Yes.
Except that the liar-in-chief in the United States government has said that they were drug-carrying boats.
And I still say the only way he knows for sure if he was
doesn't know. He's just lying through his teeth.
I understand.
O.W.
But in his words,
yeah,
they were drug dealers. The only reason he could say for sure without capturing those drug dealers is that he was sponsoring them.
Yeah. I'm afraid.
Otherwise, how would he know?
He doesn't know. He's lying.
I understand that.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
It's
as simple as that. Well, okay, you said it. You know, but this is not the only example that we have of the Trump regime trying to tell the people of the United States that they're right and basically the rest of the world is wrong. So what we've got going on now at the United Nations these last few days is that up until now, about 3/4 of the 193 member United Nations recognizes Palestine. But this week, when they went into the session, the Portuguese government, which is no small potato either.
Don't forget the French.
They recognized the state of Palestine on Sunday, and France was scheduled to follow on Monday, as you mentioned.
And it was one of
and there's more than
Australia?
That. No, there's a list that the United Kingdom or Britain, Canada, Australia, as you said, all of them as well. So and you and I are both aware of this, that even though it was 3/4 of the countries in the United Nations that have been recognizing Palestine now for a while, that most of the big powers and the so-called big powers and the European powers and all have been reluctant to do it. But now you're seeing them do it, and I believe that in Italy, the Italian working class went on a general strike to support the Palestinian people in Gaza just a few days ago. And so I would imagine they're going to, if they haven't already recognized Palestine, the Italian government.
They're getting on board.
Well, yeah, that's right. because they don't want to be on the wrong side of their workers, especially when their workers are out there in the streets.
And unified enough to go out on a strike.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's encouraging too. But the mob rule. I mean, when I say the mob rule, that's actually saying something negative about the mob. I'm talking about organized. When I say the mob rule, the organized criminal, Trump, and his mob, his MAGA mob. They have turmoil in the FBI, and you know, my own family history was such that I'm never surprised by anything devilish that the FBI does.
Speaking from experience, you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And but Kash Patel, maybe he should also loan his name to Tom Homan, because we'll get to Kash Homan in a couple of minutes. But Kash Patel was accused the other day when he had to face the senators of having lied in his confirmation hearing, which in that he joined all those Supreme Court justices that Trump nominated, and all of these other cabinet members that Trump nominated for this term, where Patel had pledged no retaliation against the people that had been in the Justice Department and prosecuted the convicted felon, Donald Trump. He said that he wasn't going to do those things. But in the last month, so it wasn't quite as obvious the first 6 months or so, but in the last month or so, 5 agents and top-level executives of the FBI were fired, and they were fired. When you hear who they are, one of them, for example, was the acting head of the FBI when before Kash Patel was vetted and went in. His name was Brian Driscoll. And he resisted his crime, was he resisted Justice Department demands to supply the names of agents who investigated the January 6th. He wouldn't turn those names over to the Justice Department. And another one was Steve Jensen, who helped to oversee investigations into the January 6th insurrection. And this is the kicker. So I put my comment, ha ha. The third one that they mentioned in this article was Chris Meyer, who was incorrectly rumored on social media to have participated in the investigation into Trump's retention of classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. And there's so many times that you think to yourself, at least I do, think to myself, that Trump's leadership group, his team, is the gang that couldn't shoot straight. So here you have, a few guys that were really key involved in prosecuting and doing the job, and and juries and judges found them to have done a good job, because they put about 1,000 people into prison after serious trials, and then Trump let all of them out on the first day that he got in for this term.
Oh yeah,
all of them.
Even those who killed policemen.
Right, exactly. So, but
and Trump always stated that he support the police. I guess he support them as long as they brutalizing people.
Yeah.
And Kash Patel, the only reason he got that job, because he said he was going after Trump political appointees. He said that before he was even gotten to the office. So I don't even know why those in the Senate even believe that bull.
Right. Well, that's a good question. Very good question. Tom Homan, otherwise known as the Border Czar, maybe now we can call him a bagman, but because it came out in the last week or so that he had been the subject of a sting operation, FBI sting operation last year before his protector got into office.
Yes.
And he was given a bag of at least one bag of $50,000 cash. That's why I said he could also borrow that name and be Cash instead of Bordazar Homan. He could be Cash Homan now.
Yes.
And this was last year under the Biden administration that FBI sting took place, and they have it all in photographs and all of it. They have it down.
And, what did the Attorney General say?
Well, the Attorney General, who wants to go after anyone that Trump tells her to go after, a total abdication of her duty as Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi.
Yeah. So what you saying she should be arrested as well?
Definitely, and I think I may have raised that in a recent one of our shows. But definitely, she's yeah. But because they ruled,
yes,
that there was no credible evidence to even continue the investigation.
They got the investigation. They got the Epstein investigation too, and they ain't find nothing wrong with the Epstein investigation.
Well, right.
After thousands of people have said that there is something there.
But I want to say something to our audience about what is it called? DEI, diversity, equity,
and inclusion.
And inclusion. And you know, among the big hirings and firings that have taken place around Trump, and the threats by the Trump government, a disproportionate number of them have been aimed at Afro-American leaders in this country who have done an excellent job. And among those people is the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James.
Yes.
And Trump has ordered Pam Bondi and his Justice Department under Pam Bondi to harass, try, and convict Letitia James of
mortgage fraud.
Of mortgage fraud, the same thing that they're doing with Lisa Cook and so on. But the Eastern Virginia district head of the U.S. Attorney's Office,
ex-head, you
mean, Eric Siebert, a few days ago, refused to charge Letitia James because they had no evidence. And he had sworn.
That's a good reason, I might add.
It's supposed to be the best reason. But evidently it wasn't a good enough reason for Donald Trump and Pam Bondi.
Which just goes to show he can make up a lie and tell it, and his followers would believe him.
Right.
Even after they've been investigated and found there is no credible evidence that this is true.
Right.
With her as well as Cook. But yet their followers are probably still going out there right now saying they're guilty.
Right. You're absolutely right. In fact, the Supreme Court, I almost hate to get, but this is the last point that I had my notes on. That the Supreme Court voted 6-3, and you can guess it was the three women that were not appointed by the Republicans who were the three, and the other six who have major corruption issues, most of them, if not all. They allowed Trump to fire the Democratic member of the Federal Trade Commission, Rebecca Slaughter, and they also served notice, the Supreme Court of the United States, that they will consider expanding presidential power to shape independent agencies. What happened to independent? Okay, this is what they said. By overturning a 90-year-old decision limiting the rights of a president to fire board members. So this is something that they're looking at. Because right now, Sister Cook is still absolutely correct that Trump has no ability.
No authority.
No authority. There you go. Yeah, right. He might have the ability of a violent criminal, but no legal authority at this point. But that's something it looks like the corrupt Supreme Court is looking to change too. So, we started out, brother, with the shocking but positive George Will expose of both Trump and J.D. Vance and their warmongering. They're not only warmongering,
but lying.
And then, and the attack on the Venezuelan people in these boats, and then the role of the Republican and Democratic Congress people in sitting on their hands.
Supporting Trump, I would say.
Supporting Trump. And let's throw Vance in there with him. But it's important for you and me to remember, brother, that in our unity lies our strength.
In our unity lies our strength. That means the people need to unite against this fight.
Right, and in this fight.
Yes.
And it means that on October 18th, we need to, as many of us as can, need to get out there and be in the streets making these demands for justice. Good to see you, brother.
Same here, brother.